Welcome back to another episode of TC with Lily. I'm your host and resident care coordinator, Lillian Hernandez, aka Lily like the flower, because we are learning and growing together. In this episode, in this conversation, I want to touch base with some of you that have reached out to me, that have scheduled discovery calls, and just expressed your frustrations or roadblocks that you're experiencing in your transaction coordinator journey. And I want to let you know that you're doing great. But I understand that we all experience these things and it's normal. And the best way to do so is to just assess your life, do an audit the same way we would audit a file. You want to audit your life. What's going on? When you experience these roadblocks, how are you feeling? What do you feel, what's going on physically, mentally? How is your sleep? How is your nighttime routine? There's so many things that we can just reevaluate in the moment that actually have nothing to do with the file, right? But if it does pertain to something that, that is in the file that you just aren't sure about, reach out to your community. And if you don't have a community, hit the comments. Hit the comments. Another way is to join my TC community. If you head to transactioncare.com, that is my main hub where you could see everything I'm up to, from podcasting, transaction coordination, coaching, merch, so much more. It all lives there at transactioncare.com. Link will be below. But for those wanting to start a transaction coordinator business right now, and maybe you're in between careers, you're in between businesses, you're just in transition, the best place to start is with where you are today. Take a pause, and it doesn't have to be right now. It could be scheduled. It could be a week from today, whenever it aligns best with you and you are ready to fully commit to healing yourself and these roadblocks and breaking these habits, forming new habits. But ultimately, if you are in transition right now, the best place I always suggest people to start is asking yourself why. Why do you want to pursue this career? What is it that you are lacking? What is it that you are needing? Who is it that you want to serve? How do you want to feel throughout this process? And really just figure out and get to the root of why. What is it you want to let go of, receive more of, all of that, right? And start with you. It always comes down to what you need, what you want, and answering that question why will help to form that foundation. So then when you do encounter roadblocks, you do encounter self-doubt, insecurities, you can always reference your why, because that will give you the answers and remind you like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. During those tough times, you'll question everything. And over time, your why may evolve. It may change. You may not feel the same way you did today that you do 6 months to 6 years from today, right? But it's always important to constantly be checking in with yourself. Are you acknowledging your feelings in this moment? Why do you really want to embark in a business in real estate? What are the pros? What are the cons? There's so many ways that we can go about this, and it takes time. You don't have to rush through all of this in one sitting. It may take you 2 days, a week, a month. I know I'm constantly revisiting my why and making sure that I'm still on track with that. And everyone's why is going to be different. Just keep note of that. What I'm doing, why I'm doing this work is going to be completely different as to why you're doing it. Can we compare and contrast notes? Absolutely. But ultimately, it comes down to what you need and your needs and your desires and your objectives and goals and purpose and passion, all of those things. But if you are stuck and you need someone to provide some feedback or kind of guide you in a way and in answering or asking you more in-depth questions, hit my line. Let's coordinate. I have some slots open for this month of June, depending on when you're watching this, but I will put the link down below for my discovery calls. 15 minutes. Right now it's free. I am working on building a community platform for all of us for these types of conversations and lessons and workshops and live Q&As to exist. that are more exclusive to those that are in transition. So stay tuned for that. Go to Transaction Care Podcast. Go to transactioncare.com to join my TC community, because that is the first place where all that information, the website, the signups, the costs, all of that will be announced first before it goes public. Even though I'm talking about it right now, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but just know I am working on my coaching business and a platform for us as brand new TCs, brand new entrepreneurs, to feel safe, to feel seen, to feel heard, and to just have that support system that I know is lacking within this big, intimidating real estate world, especially in such a niche market that is transaction coordinators. And don't get me wrong, there are amazing communities out there, especially on Facebook. I highly implore you to search in Facebook transaction coordinators and find groups that align with you, whether it's through your state. There are masterminds. If you're a solo TC, there's so many resources out there that are available for free. Just know that I'm working with budget, with impact, with fulfillment and structure, all of that in mind as to what I will present. I don't want to just throw things out there for the sake of making a few extra bucks. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking, how am I going to feel about this 5 years from now? How am I going to feel? How is this going to resonate with future me and the path that I'm going towards? Because if I'm only focused on getting things done in this moment, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to, for me at least, that's my journey, that's my path. I mean, that's just a glimpse into, what's going on in my mind. And especially as a creative, I want to keep things fresh. I want to give you guys, provide a home for you all to, like I said, feel safe in and to come to when you are in need of support, questions, you want to vent, things of that nature. So stay tuned for all of that. And until then, if you do have any questions about starting a transaction coordinator business, you can reach out to me, hit the comments. The best place to, get your questions answered either by me or others within the real estate community is in the comments. You can also just join my TC community. Like I said, head to transactioncare.com. I'm going to keep saying it until you memorize it and and it sticks to your ribs like grits. Transactioncare.com, transactioncare.com, transactioncare.com. And if you're more of an audio listener or learner, I do have a podcast also named Transaction Care. So if you want to learn more about transaction care, I interview other TCs within the industry, other realtors, and people that you wouldn't normally associate with real estate, that you may not even think I'd have a conversation with. So if you want to check that out, go to transactioncarepodcast.com. I'm about 26 episodes deep, which is, kudos to me, because that is a lot further than I'd ever imagined at this point in time, especially me being a one-person show. I'm doing all of the producing, editing, writing, posting, lighting, sound, mics, all of that. I enjoy it. I do need help. But I need to build up my funds to afford such help. But just stay tuned. All of that. I love doing the podcast because I get to talk to other people within the industry and hear about their journeys. It's not so much like market talk, numbers, stats, all that, which is great. I think that is important to know. But it's mostly about just learning about their journeys and asking them deeper questions that will resonate better with you all in your journeys as to like, how did they get there? What was their mindset? How did they feel as they were doing their LLC? Or, did they have a mentor? Did they have a coach? How are they, caring for themselves inside and out financially? What was their relationship with money? I go real deep with those conversations on the podcast, so go check them out. Here on YouTube, it's more of a behind the scenes, more one-on-one recaps, Q&As, and things that are happening in my life in order to serve you all. So if you are interested, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Hit the like button. Share this video with anyone you think that this may serve or help or bring value to them. And if there are any topics you want me to touch on, like I said, hit the comments, write it. It could be a word, it could be a sentence, it could be a novel, whatever you want, hit the comments. Good and bad feedback is always welcomed with all that I do, all of that work. Feedback is information, it's data. I need it in order to improve and make sure I am staying on track and providing and servicing those that are in need and not just myself. So with all of that said, thank you for tuning in this week. This has been another episode of TC with Lily. My goal with all that I do is to demystify the business of real estate and to empower you to start your journey, however and whatever that looks like, today. And if I've done that, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And remember, your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Care for yourself, care for your wealth.